Hello and welcome to today's episode of Thrive After 45. I'm Denise Drinkwalter, heart whisperer, midlife mirror, and mentor. And every week I am honored to share energy and space with inspiring guests whose stories reflect so many possibilities of thriving beyond 45. Together, we'll uncover the whispers of the heart, the power of midlife transformation, and the wisdom that fuels expansion. If your home could become the truest reflection of your soul, not just a place to live, but an actual sanctuary that breathes who you are, what you love, and how you wish to move through this life. How would that change everything for you? It is such an honor and a privilege to welcome Kim Depole to our show today. Kim is a mindful living design consultant who masterfully weaves together art, meditation, and interior design to help her clients create homes that are not only beautiful, but deeply restorative and soul aligned. An artist at heart and a designer by passion, Kim's creative journey has spanned over 35 years, beginning with her early work in visual display and product development, to serving as a creative director in the corporate world, and later traveling the world from Japan to Southeast Asia, exploring culture, architecture, and the sacred energy of space. Her story is one of artistry meeting mindfulness, where the design process becomes a form of meditation, and every home she touches becomes a reflection of inner peace and authentic expression. Kim has impacted over 700 lives, guiding individuals to articulate what they truly need to live, work, and restore in harmony. She's a firm believer that design is not about trends or perfection, but about liberation, creativity, and living sustainably with intention and care for the planet. Today, we'll explore what it truly means to live mindfully, create consciously, and design a life and home that supports who you are becoming. Welcome to our show today, Kim. I can't wait
Thank
for
you
this.
so much. I am so excited. I've got like Shakti waves up the spine. I'm so excited.
This is so incredible. I have to draw attention to, before we even begin, for those of you who are not watching on YouTube but are listening intently, Kim has already shared through her visual the way that she creates calm space. She has an incredible vase beside her that pulls in not only nature's beauty, but the vibrant color that also matches her beautiful scarf. And there's a pop of color on her lips. I mean, I'm just like, I turned on my camera and I went, "Oh, didn't I? I sighed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh. This is perfect. You
Oh,
pull it
thank
all
you.
together."
It's fall and yellow is the color of the solar plexus. So yeah, it's a beautiful color. And who does not love
Oh,
sunflowers? And
right.
black and white for yin and yang and for balance. So yeah, there we go. Everything has a reason.
See? This is why we have to talk to you today and gleam as much as we can for our audience to understand the depth of reality when we pull things together in our home environment that actually demonstrates who we are as an individual. How in the world does this become a reality for people? What tell us before we jump into that, tell us about how you got to do what you are doing now. What's your journey?
Right. Wow. That's a very, complicated story. I'll give you the 3-minute version. So, worked in the corporate, was an artist, straight out of the gate. Of course, the mother that said, you need a marketable skill, Kimmy. You can't be an artist. So I still had that passion seething within me, but luckily, when I was in design school, I was connected to somebody through another connection
Yep.
for this job. And then I just was a stylist. And I'm the kind of person that I just show up and then all of a sudden, it becomes something else way larger than I ever could imagine. So, stylist into creative director. 7 years later, couldn't do it anymore. I did what everybody does, saved my money and moved to Japan. Lived
Right.
in a seven tatami traditional Japanese house, used that as my base and traveled solo throughout Southeast Asia. So I took off about almost 2 years, came back. What are you going to do now, Kim? Again, asked to be an assistant for somebody for the first show house in New York. She got fired in 2 weeks, put me as the director. So fast
Wow.
forward, incredible, thrown into the creme de la creme of the interior design universe, which is something I didn't really experience before. So after that experience, it was let me go back to school, or I want to be an architect, da 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 da, back to school, and then I hung up my shingle. First job was a house in the Hamptons, and I never looked back for 25 years. I don't think I took a rest for 25 years working on commercial projects and residential projects.
Through all of that journey, help us to understand how the busyness, because what I heard you say in my mind's eye is like, holy cow, girlfriend, go,
Yeah,
go, 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 go. How
yes.
does one learn about grounding oneself
I
through all
think
of that?
the key to my success and
Yep.
my evolution, and also just by grace of what was given before me, um, was learning to meditate when I was 18. So that is something I did every day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. I was really committed to that because if I didn't, everything would be off balance. I couldn't concentrate, but I was very secretive about it. It was almost like I was embarrassed. I would
Right.
never tell my clients. People in the office knew. They said, "Oh, where's Kim? Oh, she's in the closet meditating. We have to wait. We can't talk to her for 20 minutes." So, yeah, so that really was foundational. And that's why at this stage, in my life, I feel so compelled to share. It's like the world caught up with me because now
Mm,
there's meditation apps, there's meditation this, which is wonderful because it really is the answer, honestly.
right. When we started, you talked about yellow being the one of the chakras. So, do you practice meditation that is associated with chakras? Like I know there's multitudes of meditations. Have you tried different kind? Like how does share with
Yeah,
us a
I
little
mean,
bit around that? Yeah.
I was initiated through TM at that time.
Okay.
And I've tried many different, when I lived in Japan, it was a different type of meditation. When I
Hmm.
traveled through India, it's a different Hindu devotional type of meditation, but it's all the same thing. It's
Mm,
really just turning your eyes in. It's as simple as that. The vehicle does not matter. It really
okay.
does.
Perfect. Perfect. When you support your clients, do they find you and reach you because of your ability to take the inner self and grow it into the home environment? And perhaps that's not even what you do. That's how I envision it. Share a bit more
I
on
I
that.
have to share now that
Yeah.
right now I'm trying to model that experience. Just last month, I sat down with a couple, whose all the children are married. There they are in the home. That's not an expression of who they are. And
Mm,
so I said, okay, we're going to start with a meditation. And I sat with the husband and wife, close your eyes. And I did like about 20 minutes of just intentionality. That's what it is. It's really what's the intention of the space? And
ooh,
I'm sorry, you don't do that by looking through a magazine or on social media or I want this, I want that, or going to the store. No, the first step is really looking deep in your heart expression. What brings you joy? What do
mm,
you love? Not what your neighbor loves or your child what do you love? So, and it's interesting because I work with so many people that it's like I give them the permission slip, like
I
they
love
don't even
that.
allow themselves that expression. Or they'll say, "Oh, I'm not artistic." Yes, you are. Who picked out the shirt? Who picked out the tie? Do you know, like you make
Yeah.
those choices, those aesthetic choices constantly. Every day you make those decisions.
And so, do you find that when you start the intention setting with your clients, that in the beginning they struggle? Not
It
consistently, but that's a
Yeah, sometimes, and
okay.
sometimes it's even hard to like I had a doctor, an anesthesiologist.
Yes.
It just was very rational mind, like it didn't. So I do it. So what I do is I
Okay.
do the meditation for them. And then I'm very aware. I become very acute to sort of seeing what the preference is or maybe the timidity is of an expression. It's sort of what, I love your title of being a whisperer. It's like being a whisperer
Right.
to kind of, especially many of my early clients were just in finance. They didn't have
Sure.
that kind of expression. So and then by the time they finish working with me, oh, Kim, I went to the gallery and then they're the one telling me what to go see. Oh, did you go to the Met for this exhibition? And I'm like, oh my good, no, I did not. So, it comes
Ooh.
full circle in that sharing. It's
Isn't
really
isn't
profound.
that incredible?
Yeah,
So the I love this because the ripple effect literally comes back to you
it does. It
and
does.
and everything widens as a result.
Yeah. And yeah, what's fascinating, one I just have to share because
Yeah.
I just got this text this morning. It's a new couple
Yep.
and the wife had passed away about 5 years ago. And so then it's like, how do I make my new
Yeah.
partner feel part of this home, like they feel like they've moved into my whole history. So there
Right.
you go. So that's a whole new challenge for me. I mean, I think that's remarkable. So I'm so excited about that.
What an honor,
Yeah.
right? To be able to help guide them as they are ready for your work to present itself in the way that it does, that they get to build a new life with total respect of that which they have lost.
Yeah. And it's a
How?
balancing because the new partner has a very specific aesthetic expression and the other one is very, very specific. So it's again, how do you balance that? How do you make both people feel heard and celebrated?
And clearly, you do that beautifully. Otherwise, you wouldn't be continuing to receive the incredible accolades and the people still coming through your door going, I need to work with
Yeah.
you, right?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because this is a very unique style with a very intentional purpose. And do you find in today's world, that people are needing it even more than ever before because of the chaos outside? We need to have our living spaces a reflection of our deep inner calm that exists inside of all of us that many of us don't even know how to find.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the trajectory of COVID, how we were forced indoors. Everybody all of a sudden had this awareness. They were buying furniture and things without thinking. We just, almost like neurotically. And then we're released out of the home, and then we're back in the home because we need that feeling of security. So I like to think of homes, there really are containers of
Mm.
living, aren't they? And then I love this idea of launch pads of creativity. My favorite thing to do is to design children's rooms or
Oh,
nurseries because you have this little nucleus of like, how can I provide some aspect of inspiration or just one part of it and then the child can kind of, take off from there, right?
I
So
love that.
yeah, that's really exciting project to work on.
Absolutely. What about, I think of my kids who are, I'm going to say long gone because they really are, even though I'm only 30. Wink, wink, audience, wink,
I
wink.
go
I had,
30, 30, 30, I chop the years in like,
yeah,
plus, plus. That works. 30,
right,
30.
right. My son is celebrating his 30th birthday in beginning of November in Portugal, and
Wow.
I'm like, he's not 30, I'm 30, can't be, whatever, right? But I think of their home, our children's home, and how I watch how they create their space within. And you mentioned about being with a new person and a new individual. How do we create that common space that we both love? Is
Yeah.
that something that is something you find people are reaching out going, you know what? I'm moving away from home. I still need something because this is new and everything's foreign. How do I build something that I feel is comfortable in my home growing up as I am now out into the world? Do you do that kind of work?
Oh, yeah. But what's interesting too is, I mean, it makes me laugh a little bit because usually the first thing they say, I want adult furniture. And then often I'm with older adults that will say, I want adult furniture.
Never
Like,
heard
what
of
does
that.
that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean like that's not your Aunt Fanny's sofa? That's not your, you know what I'm saying? So,
So do you ask that question? What do you mean?
yeah, of
Because,
course,
okay,
all that.
yeah,
Yeah. Or usually what I always do is when I first come, it's always, I ask a very important question. What piece of furniture or object is the touchstone of your heart for your family, for a memory? And let's honor those because those need, and I don't care if your next door neighbor comes in and says, oh my God, that chair is hideous. No. That's not your friend. Because if
yeah,
that's a very particular, important touchstone for you, it should be respected and honored.
I
Period.
love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely agree on that. Um, what you were sharing in terms of the furniture piece, when I think of home, my home, our kids' homes, we always tend to hang out in the kitchen. And it's
Oh, of
not
course,
big,
that's yeah,
right? Okay.
the
So,
soul. That's the soul of the house is the kitchen. Oh, I'm Italian. Are you kidding me? That's it. That's the only place to be.
right? Yeah, yeah. Love that. Um, AI. I see all kinds of stuff. Here's my space. I throw it in. Not that I do this, but people throw it in AI, design my area for me. What do you think about AI's influence on interior home design, current in the future? It's not going to be that far away that it's going to be,
Yeah, it's now. There's
yeah,
no future. It's present. I have to confess this morning I downloaded a program so I could just scan a room and it'll make a floor plan and elevations for me. Okay, love
that's,
that.
yeah,
Love it. But when I see apps that, oh, scan the room and have it create French provincial, scan it, have it create Scandi, whatever the hell that is, and then scan the. So what my concern
Yeah.
is that it's like cookie cutter, it's back to just trend. It's not the full expression of who you are. Okay, to get some idea of it,
Sure.
interesting, right? But it's really, it's the functionality of the space. What does the space
Yeah.
have to do for you? Forget about decoration, forget about color. It's really pragmatic in terms of the use and how it supports you. Maybe if it's a small space, each piece has to do four things, not one. So you really look at that. So if you're looking at this pretty picture, are you going to get the functionality of your space? I don't think AI is that deep into making those
Right.
determinations, right? So,
Plus, I don't, with my 2 cents on it, but I don't think it has the ability to deepen your understanding about such, which is why you're so vital, where you ask such incredible questions because you see a wider, deeper purpose for space and the use of, right?
right. Or just the act of invention. Like my favorite thing is like the hardest problem, solve the problem. Because space planning is that. It's a problem. Or how do you become like a magician and make a very, big room feel intimate? Like
Mm.
what's the recipe for that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure AI will catch up with those tenets of architecture and design, but it's nice if somebody just gives you the quick fix kind of solutions so that it's more attainable.
Right, right. I love that. I love that. So much is coming up for me. There's something I'd love to ask you. And this might be totally out there, and you say, Denise, I can't answer that. And that's fine. Cool. I'm cool with that. We're here, we're open, we're honest. We do each other the way we live life and the way we think and talk. I have, I can't tell you the number of times of people who've come in our front door and they say there is an energy that exists in
Yeah.
your space.
Yes.
And it's a good energy. So that's the good part. It's not like, oh, I don't like it in here. It's scary. It's all about. I just feel like I've had people come in and we've done different things and whatnot. People who do mediumship and whatever, just for fun on the side. And I remember her in particular saying, "Wow, this is a really positive space. I don't know but it's very real." Is that something that would be a spin-off of our comfort in the space, or do you think it would be from years gone by? I mean, again, you might not be able to answer that because you don't know my home, you don't know my space, but I do know
Well,
that people,
but let me ask you, do you know the
yeah,
history of your house? Do you know who lived there before? Was it a family? Was it a,
it was a family for years and years
okay.
and years and years. And not sure if they had children, but our understanding, and if you believe in this or not, but I sure did, she shared that the one little girl wanted to stay and be in our energy because it was so good. So she returned
Oh,
back to the house.
oh, interesting.
So interesting. So I just found that fascinating. And I was like, I don't know if it's the house that holds some of that or whether it's what we do, or we've obviously reenacted and renovated areas in our home the way that felt good for us. Um, yeah. So I just didn't know how, if you had any insight on
No,
that.
but I mean, just think about it. Isn't it logical? Even the reverse. There's spaces that have negative energy. There's
True.
spaces that you go into and you
Yeah.
feel very contracted, or spaces you go in and you feel expansive. I was just last weekend up at a yoga retreat, And the minute you walk on these grounds where everybody has been meditating and practicing yoga and praying for peace every night, the energy on that ground is different. It really is. It's very healing. And I mean, I feel very strongly about that. I know one
Yeah.
experience I had was I'll never forget this. I went,
Mm.
it was in Staten Island, and it was a group of nuns that do nothing but pray 24 hours. And I went into this space and they just opened the doors of this room. And I have to tell you, that energy, like I could feel it the minute they opened that door, because the intentionality of devoting your life to prayer for peace for others 24 hours a day. I mean, or the people that are monks that live
Yeah.
in silence, or, I mean, it's that same beautiful energy. So of course, why wouldn't that be imbued in your house that's
Hmm.
full of more love
Right.
and light? Light attracts light, doesn't it? So
True. Yeah. Yeah. Got the chills when you talked about the nuns. I just envisioned the door opening. The
yeah,
doors.
I
Yeah.
really
Oh.
it was stunning.
Oh.
And it was this modest, like you wouldn't
Yeah.
even, where am I? But the minute you open those
Yeah,
doors,
isn't it
yeah,
something?
it
Yeah.
was powerful.
And is that generally not the, how do I put this? Is that generally what your goal is so that the homes that the your clients are working on and developing and creating are powerful for them,
Yeah.
empowering
I,
them,
I mean,
grounding?
I see home as an aspect of the divine,
Yeah. Love that.
divine expression, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it should be clean, it should be orderly, it should support you. So how you feel inside is directly influenced by your exterior. You're like we're these cells with of water. Of course, we're going to absorb what's around us. So what my new thing that I'm hoping to tour the space this week is I met this remarkable woman that is providing housing for children that have aged out of this system. And they've never
Okay.
really had their home. They've never really had a room. And so I feel so compelled to help her and go in there and work with each one of these children. They're young adults. And
Yep.
just like, let's look at this container. Like what do you need to do to make this inspirational for you? And
Mm,
and that's what it is. It's almost for me, I don't want to use the word case study. I'll call it heart study. For me, it's
I
a
love
heart
that.
study to really see if I can be of service to these young adults and help them, blossom and proceed with their lives. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. I want to talk to you when you've had time to do that.
Oh,
I
I'd
would
love to share.
love,
Yeah,
yep,
I also feel the need to kind of document it because I really want to know about them and their history. I mean, I have to kind of prepare myself
yeah,
emotionally, I think. I'm going to
for
hear some
sure.
very horrible
Hmm.
things. So,
Hmm.
if I can bring light into that situation, that would be incredible.
I know that you will. I know
Thank
that
you.
you will bring light. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that path would not be there for you if that were not the case.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything you would love to leave the audience with? We have all your information in the show notes so people can take a look, find you, go follow, do whatever they need to do to connect with you. But is before we say goodbye, is there something that you would love to share with our audience around the conversation we've been having, or even something brand new that we haven't touched on? Because there's so much I know.
Well, I've made a commitment on Substack to do this Wednesday newsletter, and it's, out and about New York and this and that, but I do a lesson about mindfulness and
Mm.
meditation, and it's a learning process for me. and I'm up to week 18. So
Nice.
yeah, lot to read, and it's just a labor of love. So I would love if everybody had a just quick look at that, made a comment, maybe made suggestions. I mean, everything from meditating by looking at the clouds to walking meditation, because I had the honor of studying with Thich Nhat Hanh, the Zen monk that
Wow.
passed recently. So all of his teachings, too, I love sharing that as well. So
Wonderful. Thank you. We will have that in the show notes for sure. Kim, thank you so much for connecting, for having conversation with me to give to the audience in ways that something that many people, I am sure, have kind of thought about, but through the eyes of the external and not through the voice of mindfulness and peace within and intention in terms of what your space and the functionality of it. So, thank you so much for bringing all of this information to the next level for all of our listeners here. So,
thank you,
wonderful.
Denise. It was wonderful. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. If something resonated, if multiple things resonated, if questions started popping up for you during our conversation, make sure that you act upon them and don't just sit about thinking and then just dropping it. Make some action, do something for you, by you, because of you, as a result of our conversation today. Make sure that you follow, share, give a review. We are always grateful for our audience. We are here for you, and we want you to thrive after 45. Have a wonderful day, everyone.